Thank you. That is one of the fun issues and roles that there's a temptation to evaluate the speakers, but it's good to focus on evaluating the evaluators so they improve on their speaking. Well, our first speaker is one of our newest members. Jumping right in there. I love it. Casey Hill. Her speech is from, and she did, do, kudos, the Pathways Motivational Strategies, one of the paths I've done. Level 1, Writing a Speech with Purpose. And her title is, What is the Center of Your Board? It's interesting. Casey will be sharing a simple game turned into a powerful realization about careers, risk, and how we move through life. In her speech, she will explore what happens when we stop reacting to the pieces in front of us and start focusing on the bigger strategy. Help me welcome Casey Hill.
Thank you. I have to say to Valentine, your sauna situation, that's on my list of doing something uncomfortable. And I was like, oh, I want to go to the sauna. Now I'm not so sure. I might push it down and ask you for more opinions on that. All right. Have you ever played chess? Okay, good. Some people have played chess. Have you ever played chess with my father? He plays every Sunday. I feel like playing chess with my dad is like getting in the swimming pool with Michael Phelps. They're like, maybe I have a chance if they drain the pool. But you actually have no chance. He's a state champion. But the worst part is he actually doesn't want you to lose. So he will say, Casey, just don't there. Or, oh, maybe move over this way. Or try these two squares. I'm like, Dad, there's castles and horses. How can this be so boring? Why can't we play Candyland? Right? It has instructions, it has a path, it even has rainbows. My dad says, no, we're playing chess. Chess is 64 black and white squares. 32 pieces, half of them look exactly the same. Like, but he would teach me how to play. You start learning what the pawn does. Then you learn what the rook does, and you keep learning what each piece does on the board. So I would play with my father, and the idea that I would play and I would lose. I would play again and I would lose. But the idea was that you were learning and building strategies, because every time you play chess, you completely play it differently. And I kept thinking, like, what is he actually trying to teach me? And he was trying to say, how can you use whatever you have to win? What can you have, whatever you use to win? And that question came to me the last couple of years when I was trying to focus on life and life strategies. And I was thinking life to me is a bunch of chessboards. There's different games, different opponents, and different pieces. Last year was really hard because I felt like the only piece I had was a pawn. I was a stay-at-home mom and I was trying to go back to the workforce, and I didn't have a lot of opportunity. I felt like that's all I had to use. I was re-entering the workforce. Employees would ask me, so what have you been doing? I should have been saying I was twiddling my fingers or whittling wood, because that would have been a better answer for them. I had limited options. And in chess, I was the most expendable piece. I kept going back, I kept interviewing. I finally got upgraded to a work. I got a substitute teaching job. And I felt like I got to move more. I got to see more of the board. A rook gets to move all straight or back or side to side. And I got to see more. I had more options. But I still felt like something was off. And I was thinking maybe the real strategy isn't just moving the pieces of the board. It's controlling the center of the board. Because when you control the center, you control the entire game. Everything moves through the center. So I started asking myself a new question. What is the center of my career board? At first I thought, well, it has to be teaching. That's my degree. I got a master's in it. Then one day a teacher said to me, I hope you fall in love with teaching, just like I have been. I have been in these four walls for 40 years. My stomach dropped. It felt like Lord Voldemort was behind me whispering, shh, what is your move? In that moment, I realized something. If I can't stand here and picture myself here in 40 years, what am I doing now? So I started asking a different question. If I want a different future, maybe I need to sit at different tables. Because high performers, what I like to call wizards, they see the world completely differently. Where most people see a wall, they see a move. Where most people see failure, they see information. Beginners stare at pieces. Experts, they stare at the center of the board. So instead of asking, what move should I make next? I ask, what is the center of my board? For me, it's ideas, businesses, entrepreneurship, and growth. I decided to learn about being uncomfortable. What are things on my uncomfortable list I could be doing? I submitted a play. I've been trying to launch a workshop. I'm working with a business mentor. A friend reached out and told me about an entrepreneurship teaching position. It doesn't include just four walls. If you want something you've never had, you have to do something you've never done. The reason I joined Toastmasters is because I want to learn how to stand up, speak clearly, share ideas. That's training. In chess, the most powerful piece is the queen. But you don't start the game as the queen. You have to know the pieces. You grow pawn, rook, knight, bishop, queen, all while protecting your king, which is your purpose and your value. So the real question isn't, will it be hard? The real question is the dream big enough to risk my pieces on the board? What if Michael Phelps never found a swimming pool? What if the rest of us are still standing on the edge, waiting for the water to warm up? Board is set. The pieces are yours. Protect your king, your purpose, and make your move.
Timer, give us 1 minute on the clock to write your feedback. Is she?